Serato 4.0 just dropped with all the library tools that we have been begging for years, and every other video online is going to lecture you about all of their features. I say screw that. I want to show you how I'm going to completely nuke my entire musical library and rebuild it using its new features. My name is John Devine, and I've been a full-time DJ for over 20 years, performing in nightclubs and private events around the world. And I've been a Serato user for nearly 16 years. So it's pretty safe to say that I've been very excited for this 4.0 release. But like I said earlier, all those other videos have shown you features, which is important, but no one has really shown you how to properly use them to create a custom library that completely fits you. So I'm going to show you how I build my library from start to finish. We'll be going over creating different playlists, smart crates, color coding, ratings, and more. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process to replicate it and officially clean up your entire Serato library by completely redoing mine. Step 1, back up your hard drive. So before we do anything else, please make sure you back up your music. How you do it is up to you. You can upload it to a cloud base, or you can back it up on an external hard drive. This way, if anything does happen or you lose your progress, you will be able to save your musical hard drive. Step 2, delete everything. I want you to delete all of your current crates. And at first, I know this may seem really scary, but starting with a blank slate should actually help you clear the playing field. Open eyes and an open mind will help you follow the steps better. And to prove to you I'm actually going to be doing it, I'm going to open up my laptop right now and show you how we're going to do this on my computer. So as you can see, I have Serato 4.0 up, and I am going to officially delete all of my crates. So let's do it. Yep. Literally all of it. There we have it, folks. We have a blank slate. Okay, now that we deleted everything, let's dive in and start building your crates. Now, my approach is pretty simple, actually. I break everything into two categories, technical and creative. Now, the technical crates keep your music organized, and they make it easy to search and find exactly what you need fast. Now, creative crates are all about inspiration. Here, you can build curated playlists, test new sets, explore different moods, and capture unique vibes. Also, this system helps you stay organized and keeps your creativity flowing. So let's get started. First, let's break down technical crates. So typically, I always categorize the technical crates into three sections: years or decades, genres, and keys. First, I'm going to create hosting crates for each and name them as such. So we're going to name 3 folders: years, key, and genres. Now that we've created our hosting crates, let's kick things off with genres. They're the simplest playlist to organize. Now, in Serato, you can use something called smart crates to automatically sort your tracks based on genre, based on your preferred criteria. So here's how. The first thing you're going to do is create a smart crate and name it after your chosen genre. Let's do it. So the first thing you do is click on smart crate, and you're going to set the parameters. You're going to go down to genre. There it is. And then you're going to say contains, and then pick the genre of your choosing. So for this one, I'm going to choose hip hop. I'm going to rename the smart crate hip hop. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move it down into the genres folder. So now my hip hop crate is created. See, now Serato is going to instantly scan your entire library and fill this crate with the tracks that match your genre, streamlining your music organization with absolutely minimal effort. Now, you're going to continue this process until you reach the genres you typically like to work with. You'll also notice that if a specific genre looks light, like you don't have much of it, you may not need it. But as always, this is subject to how you want to organize your music. Before we move on to the next section, we're going to color code our genre crates. This way, when we get to our creative crates, we can associate those color crates based on the color of the genres they may be hosting. So for me, I'm going to be doing the following. Hip-hop is going to be dark green. R&B is going to be light green. Dance and house is going to be yellow. Pop and top 40 will be red. Latin will be orange. Disco will be purple. And rock will be gray. Next, let's tackle keys. Now, keys are analyzed based on the Camelot wheel. And the Camelot wheel is a circular chart that organizes musical keys into 12 sections, kind of like a clock. And each section is assigning each key a number, 1A to 12B, where compatible keys for smooth mixing are either adjacent, meaning it's the same energy, or one step away clockwise. energy is boosting. Now, understanding this gives you an edge in mixing keys harmonically and creating dynamic routines, transitions, and mashups. But to stay organized, you want to group your tracks into folders by Camelot key numbers. So here's what you're going to do. Like we did before, you're going to create another host folder, and you're going to name it 1A-B, 2A-B, all the way until you reach 12A-B. After creating your main folders, make subfolders using smart crates. For each smart crate, edit the key field, select is, and enter the matching key and letter. So for example, 1A is going to go in with 1A. This will organize all the songs regardless of genre into the correct crates. And be sure to include both A and B sections. Now look, this may take a while, but this setup will make it so much easier to find songs for your mixes. Lastly, for the technical crates, we're going to be going over years. Now, technical crates are organized by decade or year. You can get detailed as you like, because each decade can also include subfolders with smart crates that filter tracks by genre. This makes it easy to find music from a specific decade and genre for your set. As always, start by creating hosting folders for the decades you want to use the most. Now, as a private event DJ, I begin with the 70s and continue up all the way to the present year. When you reach the 2020s, create a separate folder for the current year. At the time of this recording, it's still 2025, so my final folder will say 2025. I'll explain the reason for this in just a minute. Once all the hosting folders are created, begin creating subfolders made out of smart crates that include a genre from that decade. For example, you'll have 70s rock, 80s disco, 90s hip hop, etc. In the smart crates, you will have to create parameters that fit within the decade you want it to search. So if you're doing it for the 70s, you need to set it for these following parameters. Now, make sure all rules are matched, and the first thing you're going to do is go to year. You're going to select before 1980. You're going to go to year again, select is after 1969. And then you're going to choose a genre, and you're going to select a genre that you want to create the crate for. So for this example, we're going to select rock. We're going to make sure it says contains and hit save. Now, anything that was made in the 70s that's relative to rock and roll music, here is in my crate. I'm going to name it 70s rock. Now, you're going to do this for all the folders. And again, this is going to be a bit tedious and it will take some time. But once you do it, you'll never have to do it again. This also helps you if you update your library with more music from that decade. Anytime you add new music that matches these parameters, Serato is going to automatically filter them into these subfolders, using its metadata to put the songs in its right place. Now, going back using the 2025 crate or current year crate, this will help you keep your genres cleaned up, automatically importing new music. This will give you an advantage of making more modern sets based off of trending music. Great news, your technical crates are done. I know that felt like a lot of work, but already you can tell your music library is probably cleaner than it's ever been. So the good news is we can now move on to our creative playlists. So step 4, building your custom playlists. So I have a rule of thumb. I use creative playlists sparingly. I build a select few fallback playlists to rely on if I ever lose my way during a set. But I like to regularly update and rotate these creative playlists to keep my music library fresh, to keep things interesting, and for me, exciting. So with your technical crates already narrowing down your tracks, you can now focus on crafting unique playlists that are tailored to live performances. Use them to set a perfect mood or a vibe for any given moment. Create high energy, time sensitive sets. What about designing show-stopping routines that captivate your audience? It also allows you to maintain a mini library of past sets for inspiration. See, the idea of this is to let your creative playlist evolve with you. So when you build these, I want you to focus on clear titles and smart color coding. Make each playlist easy to spot at a glance. This will help you, and any DJ who might step in will quickly find the right tracks just by reading the titles. Please do not cut corners here, because sloppy organization means losing your best playlists. I also want you to keep it simple. I want you to limit your creative crates to about 10 to 20 crates at most. This way, your music is going to stay organized, updated, and ready for any type of event. So this is how I would actually label some of my smart crates. One would be something like hip hop anthems 100 plus. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color code it green because I know that my hip hop crates are green. I also know that the 100 plus for me relates to beats per minute. So I'm only going to put hip hop tracks that are over 100 BPM in this crate. How I curate that, I have a lot of different ways. I use my technical crates to go into hip hop and just go into BPMs and search that way. Let's say I want to primarily focus on a certain decade that I know works, right? Because anthems can relate to specific eras. So I can go to 2010 hip hop, filter by BPM, and then just scroll through and start dragging and dropping. So let's say I want to put in the A Macarena remix that I have here, put that in there. Let's say I want to do, I don't know, here, Tatiana's a big one, put that in the hip hop crate. Do My Type by Saweetie, put that in the hip hop crate. Let's go down to, that's 2000s, let's go to, that's 2010s, let's go to 2000s hip hop. And let's go to BPM. And we're going to go to, let's say, Headsprung with an acapella out. I like that idea. Drag and drop that. Ride With Me could be a good one. Ching-a-Ling by Missy Elliott. That's a big one. And you're just going to keep doing this and doing this and doing this until you create a smart list. And then from there, you're going to organize it based on key, based on energy, or however you see fit to mix this crate. Another good example would be something, maybe something on the house side. So let's do a mood specific, right? So we're going to do high energy main stage house, right? And let's say 125 plus would be my BPM. Okay. And then I'm going to, again, I can go to genres. I can go to dance house and just go through the ones that I like. You know, this is what you came for maybe, or let's go this bounce version. Drag and drop that in here. Now I'm just, to be frank with you, I'm just for the sake of this video, I'm just throwing things in here. But this is ultimately how I would go about it, by taking the time, going through my playlists, and actually create unique sets that are going to better suit me for this playlist. Just by having your technical crates in order, you're going to be able to quickly create really dope high energy sets. Now, another thing I want you to realize is that you don't want to overload these crates. You want to keep them somewhere between 10 to 40 tracks maximum, where you want to be able to get somewhere between 30 to 60 minutes. This way, you can quickly get out of it or move on to another section so that way you're not stuck in one playlist and there's some room for flexibility. Another cool thing I have to point out with these crates is that you can constantly update them. So when a trending track comes out of that year and it falls within the category of your crates, you could swap out a song. You could switch, you could just add it. There's a lot of different ways you could do that. This is how you create dynamic playlists that are going to really make you stand out and put your own stamp on how you perform. Now remember, color coding is going to make it easier for the eye, but here's another thing I want you to do. I want you to be able to separate the creative side and the technical side. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a empty crate, and I'm just going to create dashes. Great. So now any creative crate I have is going to go above it. There we go. So now anytime we create a creative crate, it's above this line. Anything below this line is going to be my technical crates. Now I also want to talk about ratings. So one of the new features in Serato allows you to rate specific tracks. One of the things I used to do was actually create color coding on each track based on how the track performed. So red was a banger. Orange was kind of like, it was good, but it wasn't like super hype. It was a great filler song. Yellow was, it would cool off the dance floor. And I would also have different colors based on the vibe of that track. So maybe like blue would be a slow dance, or purple would be, you know, like an ethnic song or a religious song or something of that nature. But now with the new feature of ratings, that can change a lot of different things. So what I want to do is I want to create a rating system, and I'm going to move the rating system to the front. And the reason why is because whenever I play these playlists, I want to create a rating system based on how it performs. This also allows me to go back into my Serato after performing a night and kind of review how the audience was responding to that song. I like that a lot because I could actually start swapping out tracks based on their rating. And if all of a sudden I get one song that was a 5-star rating because the crowd went absolutely bonkers for it, but then I have a couple of tracks that are 3 stars, I might want to just switch those out, right? Or if it's a 3-star track, I might be able to use that for different purposes in another crate. Maybe it's something for, opening sets, R&B opening sets, cocktail hour, walk-in room sets. Like, these are so many different types that you can create based on how you want to curate your music for a specific purpose. Another feature that Serato came out with is the search crate option. So reason why we did a lot of this too was because if I just type in hip hop, all the hip hop crates are going to come up. This allows me to stay within a genre, and I could quickly jump into years. I can jump into the overall genre, or I could even jump into the curated playlist that I have created on the creative side. This really allows me to speed up my mixing process, giving me opportunities to quick mix and create unique live performances that I may not have been able to do if my library was completely disorganized. I mean, even if I got out of this, look at this masterpiece that we've already created. Like, already super, super, super organized. And I'm not technically done yet, but this is just going to be the starting point for me to create a brand new musical library with the music that I've already owned and make it something that is unique to me. Obviously, you want to learn from other DJs too. So if you guys want to see what other DJs are doing, we actually have a free community for DJs where you can learn the basics of DJing as well as upload some of your work, share your progress, and get critiqued by other like-minded DJs. It's called the Elevate DJ Academy. If you guys want to join, it is completely free to join for the community. All you got to do is click the link in the description. Oh, and if you want other tools to help you with your metadata to clean up your library, I suggest watching this next video.